Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another race in League of Europe Division 5. Tonight it's round 9 at Australia, League of Europe's first visit to Australia on F1 2021. I am, as always, Killer Blue 295, and I'll be joined very shortly by QVR Packer. But in the meantime, let's have a look through the standings after last week's somewhat hectic race, shall we say, at the Sakhir International Circuit in Bahrain. Energetics, the upshot of that is he still leads the championship and has indeed extended his lead. He has 118 points in the Red Bull. He finished third last week. ERS Major picked up no points. He's on 77. Marcy, who took the win and closed in on 72. Slumpcon and Harry F are tied on 62 points. Ghost Recon on 52. Jav is on 36. He's on a run of 4 non-scores in a row. Swip's on 35, his teammate 34 for They Hate Melty. He has since been promoted to Division 4. Alex Lilliart is on 31, Serial Killer on 30, Ben Scott on 29, still not going right for the Alpine man despite some stellar qualifying performances. 28 for TTG Abood. He was on the front row last week after that victory in Jeddah, but he just fell away from him in the race. 25 for Ocon Corrupt, 24 for Jess Gamer, 22 for Jamie Met, 2 McLarens. The MCFC on 18, Reardon on 13, Rickia 12, Joseph 10, despite his qualifying performances this season. Axel 9, Baba O'Reilly 8, Bell on 2, Ibo 2, Emperor 1. 25 drivers have scored points this season in Division 5. So that gets you all up on the standings. QVR Packer, are you alive and with us?
Good Hello, everybody. Yeah, I am indeed alive. Just went to go get some nutritional value out of these sun chips here. But yeah, looking to hopefully have a very sunny Australia. I'm sure most of these drivers are. 29 laps to come from the Melbourne Grand Prix circuit here in Australia. 16 corners per lap, around 154 kilometers in total race distance if you do indeed finish all of those laps. But first, short qualifying coming up to you right now.
It is indeed, and make no mention of whatever happened in Division 1 because me and Packer are in a foul mood off the back of a double non-score despite qualifying P3 and P8. But you're right, we're in qualifying and it looks nice and sunny for qualifying at least. And if you, as last week, Ocon Corrupt, there is H. Maguire 6. I don't know why you'd want to be representing Harry Maguire in League Racing, but there you go. Ocon Corrupt is H. Maguire 6, just to avoid any confusion. We've got 2 Aston Martins out just behind one of the Alpines. That is Ben Scott, and it's been a trend this season that we have the 2 Alpines out on track first. Just the one, though, today. Ben Scott's out on track safely. Harry F. has not yet elected to join him. In fact, he is. He's just behind Swip there. That's the third car out on track. But it is a tricky track, isn't it, Packer? So we've not raced it so far in this game cycle. It's very easy to make a mistake, not particularly conducive to a lot of overtaking. We've got a couple of opportunities into turn 3, possibly turn 13 as well, at the end of the first DRS zone. But it's a bit of a mistake generator. A couple of places you can lose it. Turn 5, it's easy for the car just to give way under you slightly. Turns 11 and 12, of course, somewhat infamous. Turn 2, you know all about that one. And then even coming through the last corner, the car can get unsettled. I mean, we both made mistakes there in Division 1 just a short while ago. So I heard 9 drivers finished in Division 4. Are we expecting something similar this evening? I say that, and perfectly timed. We've got Jamie Met going backwards at turn 5. Prophetic as ever from myself.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. But yeah, first time coming to Australia on this game cycle, as you mentioned. First time we'll be seeing Australia in real life since 2019. Obviously, COVID affected the last 2 seasons. Ben Scott just heading through the penultimate corner to start the first flying lap here in short qualifying. But we are going to be seeing this track in real life in just around 3 weeks' time on, well, I don't know, maybe in a few hours on a Saturday or Sunday, depending on where you are. But yeah, Australia, one of my personal favorite tracks. So looking forward, I would assume some of these drivers are just heading down towards turn 3. There's going to be a few changes when we see this track in real life. You don't really want to be on that exit curve at turn 3 and now heading through turn 4. It's very easy to lose the car there on the exit and invalidate. You don't want to be hitting the inside curb at 5, and now heading down toward, through the first sector split, 27.3, a little bit wide of the apex. You can cut that as much as you want, really. There's no real invalidation point on the inside. That corner will be getting widened up, and as you can see on the right, that little tarmac bit, as we head through the chicane of 9 and 10, will be getting, well, that will be in use for next year, or, well, for this year's Grand Prix, being turned 9 and 10 now, heading through the infamous 11 and 12, a little bit wide of the apex. You can go down one more gear if you want to get the rotation. He will do that for turn 12, and now DRS open for the 3rd time on this lap, heading down towards turn number 13 into this double right-hander that you can get wrong very easily. I've seen a lot of people spin through 13 and then through 14 here as well. I spun here in qualifying just a little while ago, and now breaking into the ever so difficult penultimate corner of turn 15. You want to use the inside curb to rotate the car with a lower gear, then short shift as much as possible to get the best smoothest possible line through the final corner, open up DRS, and across the line. It's 23.0. I'd imagine drivers into the mid to possibly low 22s once we get to the business end of this session.
Yeah, I think we're about a second away from the ultimate pace. Harry F abandoned his lap. He must have had some kind of invalidation. We've got a yellow flag. That is a McLaren just letting someone through. We've got a Red Bull now coming through the last corner. That is going to be... Oh, it's Energetics also bailed on his lap, coming into the pits. We see Energetics a lot, haven't we, on the medium tyres in the first run this season, and so he has gone again. But we'll look at Serial Killer, who could have quite conceivably easily won last week. It looked multiple occasions, and then strategy didn't go his way. So an interesting mix of strategy, shall we say, at Bahrain. But it's a fresh slate this week. He's got another chance to go for victory. Certainly the potential's there, and indeed he goes fastest by 0.3 of a second at 22.7, and goes recon 1.1 seconds off the pace. And then we've got Jamie Met coming across the line there. He's just got invalid, I believe. Jess Gamer's now coming around as well. Baba O'Reilly 2 seconds off the pace. We've got the typical D5 field sprint already, about 12 seconds off the pace. And Jess Gamer pops in there 3 seconds behind Serial Killer. So we've got quite a spread of cars so far. We've just got the second Ferrari of Abood come across the line, and I think he must have gone
off, I believe.
Yeah, backed off or went invalid because he didn't say he was on an outlap, but he's going for another run.
Yeah, TTG about. The last time I was here, race winner in Saudi Arabia. A track very similar. Some traction zones and some very difficult high-speed corners, as well as some pretty nice and flowing mid-speed corners as well. So similar in some ways because the walls are also very close around here. The street circuit, technically, of Australia. So yeah, Saudi Arabia, Australia, TTG about, I'm sure, will be looking pretty strong here once we get down to, or once we get to the race. Purple in Sector 1 is the Ferrari driver so far. We can check in with the middle sector split. There's a Red Bull causing a few yellow flags through 11 and 12, so hopefully he won't get in the way of this. 49.0 for the Ferrari driver. Nice through 11 and nice through 12, bouncing over the curbs. Very nice. You don't want to be extending at 12. The stewards are looking at that corner for track limits. Now down into 13 with Ibo just in front of him. He'll be wanting the Mercedes to get out of the way. As we head into 14, a little bit wide of the apex, that curve bouncing him just a little bit. Ibo getting into the gravel to get out of the way, but second gear, short shift third, and then you want to be going fourth and fifth as early as possible, really opening up the DRS. Teaches you about, of course, coming down from Division 4 for that Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, and he goes on, pops it on to pole position, and that's about a second faster than the driver in P2, and a little bit faster than what I was expecting to see here tonight.
Yeah, he's saying mid to low 22s by the end of the session. We're only not even halfway through, and we've got a 21.8. And I dare say, could be seeing a qualifying ban coming to Ibo for that little excursion over the gravel for blocking Abu. Not that it slowed the Ferrari down too much.
And
MCFC has gone at turn 12. I mean this with the utmost respect and dignity, of course, but I don't think a qualifying ban would be too harmful to Ibo's chances and success this season. We've only got one or two drivers on the lap right now. Con is one of them. He's on the mediums, and he's coming around the penultimate corner now, and then load that outside tyre up through turn 16. Really long corner, easy to get on the traction too early and send the car spinning towards that right-hand wall. No such dramas for the Hassman. He is in P7. Axel Kurz is the other one, but he's had a very suspect one. He's going on a slow in-lap, and he's some 7 seconds off the pace. So, in fact, we have got one person on the lap. It's Harry F. He's just gone for his first proper effort after abandoning his first run, and he's done a 27.0 through the first sector. Nicely done. We've got a tricky 9 and 10 chicane coming up. You want to shift up into 4th, 5th quickly. Don't get that little squirm of traction that you had there. Easy for the rear to give way under you, particularly as you want to straight line that curve as much as you can. Stay in 7th, or not, as Harry F might be so inclined. Drop it down into 6th or 11 and flick it up into 7th for turn 12. I feel like a lot of the drivers just lacking a little bit of confidence in where they can stick their car, the gears they're using, just some of the absolute commitment we're seeing so far. But we said this in qualifying in Division 1 that, you know, the nature of the track is little room for error. You're going to be driving at 85%, at least on your first competitive laps. Doesn't affect Harry F too much though. 22.2, and he's safely in P2, and I think just from the looks of that, Packer, there's plenty more time to come in that for the LP.
Yeah, just looking back at the sector's race director being my very good friend, around 900ths in that first sector to about, and then 2 and a bit, or just under 2/10, and then another 10th and about through that final sector. So a little bit of time just in every sector, but overall was a very good lap for Harry F and puts him comfortably into P2.
And Energetics has just set his first lap. He's gone 1.5 seconds off the pace again on the mediums, so he's gone for a second round on the mediums after abandoning the first.
That's pretty good, you know, for mediums.
It's a very good lap, but I am confused as to why Energetics feels married to this idea of the medium tyre, because if he went softs, well, presumably he could easily go ahead of his teammate into P3. So, odd decision. I think why increase the risk of your situation by putting yourself in the middle? And what are you seeing? We've got a yellow flag. That is
Jamie Metz has knocked a curb at turn 5 and gone into a wall.
He has indeed, and we've got TTG Abood, I just saw in the background there, without a front wing coming round turn 1, and he's only just left the pits on his outlap.
He's pulled a Connor there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has indeed, coming out of turn 2 without his front wing. So, well, that's Abood will want to get back to the pits as quickly as possible, but without putting too much mileage on those tyres and then having another go very soon, but not particularly the way you want to start your second run. So let's have a look for some laps. We've got Serial Killer in P3 at the moment. He's coming through the first sector now, through turn 5. He's going to catch up to Abood on this lap, I should think. Oh, and he's into the wall at turn 5. That's claimed its third victim of the session so far, and there goes Swip in the Aston Martin, dodging that Aston. Not too sure whether it's ghosted, but that was a big moment for Serial Killer. The rear just let go from him, didn't have the grip to stick, and he's flung that Red Bull into the inside barrier. Got another yellow flag. That was at turn 11 and 12. That was just Abood going slowly. So who have we got in the lap now? We have got Swip. He was, despite that, 0.3 of a second up in sector 1, and so it still is through sector 2. But he had to have a couple of bites. It turned into 11 and 12. That will compromise the speed massively through the left-right chicane. He's just got a few 90-degree corners to go now. Car's understeering a little bit, complaining, doesn't want to quite turn in as he wants it to, missing the apex there, and then riding the curb too much. That sent the car a little unsettled through 14, 15. Yeah, dabber grass as well. I'm getting my words tongue-tied here, but Swippy is going to come across line. It's going to be a very good lap. Puts him into P6, just a 10th of a second or so behind Ben Scott.
Next driver out on track, just in behind Swip there is Bubba O'Reilly heading through the middle sector. It was a 10th or so up at his time, I believe. It looked relatively solid for the time that I've been watching on board with him. So let's see how he fares through the final sector. Not exactly where you want to be placing your car through the penultimate corner, just a little bit wide. You want to try and get the cut as much as you can to that penultimate corner to get the best run possible. To 24.2, improves by 5/10 and put himself up into P10.
We've got another driver without a front wing. Jav was on a lap. He is now riding in sympathy with Abood, shall we say, without his front wing, coming through towards turn 13 there. Still not set a lap time, of course, so this was his second effort. He's only got one more crack at it. But noticeable, isn't it, that we've got quite a few drivers still without lap times on the board. XL Major, the exception in those. He has a second consecutive qualifying lap. One for causing a start line shunt at Saudi Arabia, the second for accumulating 15 licence points What did you spot there, Packer?
Ben Scott just a little bit slidey through the final few corners, but puts himself up in a P4. A few hundredths behind Serial Killer. He has one more run, though, to beat Serial Killer, even though he has retired so far. So, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that Serial Killer lost the car in his second run, because he could have been possibly on to challenge Harry F. Just saying that, though, Harry F. teaches you about both on outlaps. Harry F. just starting his what will be this third flying lap, or second flying lap even, if I can get my numbers right. So yeah, Harry F just heading through the first sector now. Slumkhan just heading through the final as well. He's up by half a second. So this would put him into the 23s quite comfortably, I'd say. Possibly into the 22s, depending on the final sector. I don't think he'll quite get there, but let's see what it is. Oh, 22.5. Never mind. Find quite a bit of time in the final.
Really nice effort from Slumpcon there. And Slumpcon, Serial Killer, Ben Scott, Axel, all very closely split. Just 2 tenths of a second between the lot of them. We're on board with Harry F as he goes through towards turns 9 and 10. Now he had a little moment here on his previous lap, but it keeps the car much straighter on traction now. Not the same problems with the rears wanting to slip under him, and stick to the extreme left of that long curve to take the shortest line. And 300's down, but that looked really nice through 11 and 12 from the Alpine. Just a few corners to go, and I have to say, Packer, I really like this last sector. It's got a proper flow to it. Once you pass 11 and 12, this sequence of corners, there's a really nice rhythm. 13 to 14, and Harry F was not in that rhythm as he hits the wall, and for his troubles picks up an invalidation. He might just have time to turn it around and go back out again, but it will be on an old set of tyres.
Yeah, I have experience doing that in Division 1, finding my way to get both front wing and rear wing damage down at the penultimate corner. But Harry F, not being put into a spin like I was, and not being right on the racing line for about 5 different drivers ghosted. So, yeah, good enough for Harry F. He does have enough time to go up one more time than TGG about has bailed on whatever lap he was doing, because he is into the pit lane now as well. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left here. I have been messaged by a certain Jess Games and a certain Javier that there is rain at the end of the race, so we're going to get a little bit of a few changing conditions once we get down to the last few laps of this race. I don't know exactly when it will be coming, but all I know is that it'll be dry to wet.
Perhaps that's the incentive of the likes of Marcy, Jav, Rickia, to not set a lap, to know they can just start on the mediums outside the top 10, take the pain of starting lower down, and then just run until the rain comes. I don't think we have anybody on a lap right now. We don't. We just have Sir Ibo, legend that he is of the community and of the league. Let's ride on board with him here through Sector 1. Coming through Turn 4, takes a little too much curve. Using second gear there, should be in 4th, or even possibly 5th if he's struggling with traction a little bit. Through Turn 5, into 7th. Now you want to flick the car into Turn 6. It's back, so it's difficult to invalidate there, although I managed it plenty of times in Division 1 earlier. With my 6 seconds penalties, Ibo takes the far left open. You want to open up turn 9 as possible, so you can take that straight line over the curb of 10. Ibo overdriving the car a little bit as the car just eases it, say, extreme left, then run the car to the outside, flick it into 11. 6th gear if you can. Ibo struggling a little bit. He's in 5th through there, and now he's just got the kink. I think that's called Hill Corner. That one, if I remember correctly. I don't know where that sticks in my head. Then we've got turn 13. Lovely 90-degree corner. This corner's going to be much wider on entry post-track modifications that we'll see in the next game cycle and in real life in a few weeks' time. But it's really going to increase the speed that cars are going around the track. Could shave 10 seconds off the lap time. We've got a Red Bull stationary on the exit of turn 6. That has to be energetics. Ibo improves by a second, but he's still slow to the drivers who've set time so far. He's in P13.
Jav was on a lap, but having a little bit of a spin through the final sector at the penultimate corner, so that's going to be his chances of setting a lap time here in qualifying absolutely ruined with only a minute left as he retires, as he hits the pit speed limiter. So, yeah, Jav, his session is now over. Marcy's still in the pit lane, not going to be able to set a lap, the same for Major and Rickia. MCFC has joined back after, I think he did crash quite early on in qualifying. Outlaps for Jess, who's just starting her lap. Bab O'Reilly is all in the final sector. Energetics, as we saw, spun. Swip is heading through the final sector right now. There's a Ferrari of Abood is just heading, I think that's through the final corner just now to start his lap. So let's ride on board with Swip through the penultimate corner and through turn 16, slightly wide at the apex, but I think he's hooked it up quite nicely through the final corner. Let's see what it's going to be for Swip. He improves by half a second, puts himself into the top 5, the very edge of that top 5. It is Axel's on a lap heading through the middle sector. He's up not by very much. Jess is up by 2/10 through the first sector. Baba O'Reilly just heading through the first sector as well. There's a Mercedes heading to the line. I think that's going to be Ibo. He's up again, it looks like, on the Delta. 24.8 for Ibo, improves by a second and a half, and will be still in P13. So let's ride on board with Axel. He's only up by the 6,000 I mentioned earlier, as qualifying, or the checkered flag has fallen now here in Australia for Division 5. Axel 22.7 puts himself up into 8. A lot of drivers getting really quite close in the heart of that top 10. Jess Gamer heading through the final sector, and that's going to be an invalidation for the McLaren drivers. Let's ride on board with the Ferraris. Baba O'Reilly is still valid heading through turn 14 now. Abood valid as well. So Baba O'Reilly looking for an improvement from this 12th position, which would be quite an alright starting position, as Ghost Recon is retired in the pit lane. P12 as of right now for Baba O'Reilly. Free tire choice, but let's see what the lap is going to be. 23.4 puts himself P11, so that's going to be perfect for him. And now TTG about to the line, 21.4, absolutely dominant there for the Ferrari driver. I don't think anyone's really going to be challenging that unless H_Maguire can get to the line quite quickly. It's not going to be. It's a 22.1, puts himself up at a 4th, and Energetics also into the 21s right at the depth of the session as well. 2 laps on his tires, however. But yeah, it's going to be about on pole position, followed by Energetics. So championship leader showing up in qualifying for the first time in a few weeks.
A few big final laps there, as you say. Slumpcon and Ghost Recon had late improvements as well. Slumpcon leapt up to 3rd. Ghost Recon went from outside the top 10. I think that was P5. But yeah, Abood really in a class of his own. Throughout that session, Energetics could only just get within half a second of him. So it's Abood on pole with a 21.464, only 3/10 off Division 1 pace. That XL Rocco managed for the Lebanese man. Energetics half a second back on a 21.9, 22.0 for Slumpcon. Ocon Corrupt, or H. Maguire, I suppose we should start calling him, a 10th further back. Harry F in P5, Ghost Recon in 6th. The reserve Swip is in P7, Serial Killer is in P8 after that huge crash at turn 5. 6,000s faster than Ben Scott, who's had a low-key qualifying this week by his standards. Axel's 10th, Baba O'Reilly 11th, Jess Gamer 12th, Ibo 13th, and a major with his qualifying ban. And Rikia, Jav, Marcy, last week's race winner, Jamie, and MCFC, who disconnected without setting lap times. I have to say, if XL Major gets to start 13th with a qualifying ban, he can thank his lucky stars, because the fortune to start in front of 5 other cars when you have a qualifying ban is something else. I think the reason, I want to go back to Energetics very briefly. I think the reason we saw Energetics persevering with the medium tyre, as we now know, is because of that rain is coming, and it's all going to be about when does that rain arrive, because presumably everyone outside the top 10 will start mediums, and they'll run as long as they can, or even possibly hards. You never quite know with D5. I say that with genuine respect. But yes, Packer, what are you feeling? What's your hunches about where this is going to go? Because with the rain, we've got no idea. We saw rain at France, and that completely threw a spanner in the works.
Yeah, well, we did see in France that Jav almost won that race until he picked up a penalty on the final lap. So things can change in very short amounts of time, can't they? Here in Division 5 and in League of Europe in general as well. Just pointing out, Jav said he was purple until he invalidated on one of his laps. So possibly going up to the top of the timing sheets. Personally, I don't quite see it for him and Sandra, if I remember that correctly. His Aston Martin, but yeah, Jeff saying he was looking quite quick, so let's see if he can translate that over to the race. I know Abood can. He did it in Saudi Arabia and won that race. Not the greatest of results the last time out in Britain, 3 points only to his name, I believe, for that one. But some people are petitioning as well to get Abood moved back up into Division 4 after two a strong race and another strong qualifying here.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he stacks up directly against Energetics. We didn't really see that at Jeddah because Energetics wasn't racing, as MCFC has unfortunately disconnected again. But it was Abood versus Melty, and Melty has gone up to Division 4 since then. And obviously last week Abood got taken out quite early on, so again we never really saw them up against each other directly, but now we've got a chance to see. I mean, if Abood is as dominant as he has the potential to be, this could be an interesting title fight with Abood, the quicker but the hunter, and Energetics, the slower but the hunted. Outside the top 10, Baba O'Reilly on softs, Ibo on softs, everyone else has gone for mediums. Surprised we've not seen a hard selection in there, unless the rain is coming earlier than, to quote Jav, the end. I'm not entirely sure. Presumably if it's heavy rain, Packer, that means it's going to be light rain at some point when it first starts, so that means the rain could come a little sooner than they're expecting.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult to tell when that rain is coming. Obviously, I don't think it'll be in the first 5-10 laps, otherwise, as Slumcon and Harry Maguire have hit each other out on track and disqualified themselves from the formation lap, so that's very nice. But yeah, obviously, I don't think the rain is going to come in the first 5 to 10 laps because obviously everyone besides Ibo is on the medium tires, and Baba O'Reilly as well are on the medium tires. So Baba O'Reilly, Sir Ibo going for the main strategy. Depending on if they have fresh tires or not will depend on how many soft runs they did in qualifying, or how many sets of soft tires they used in qualifying. So I would struggle to imagine that they didn't use all 3, unless of course they did a medium lap right at the beginning, following in the footsteps of Energetics, who found himself onto the front row. So possibly not the worst of strategies.
We'll see who's got it right very soon. Not too much of a split, but it's going to be Abood Energetics, the Division 4 Dimotee versus the Division 5 Championship leader for Off the Line. And we've got Slumcon and Maguire on very cold tyres just in behind them, but it's going to be Abood on the right side of your screen, Energetics on the left. And we're underway down under. It looked like Energetics got a slightly better start there on the left-hand side, and Slumcon and Archon Corruptor getting swallowed up in the midfield there. Cracking start from Harry F, but the two leaders go side by side into one, but it's Energetics who comes out just on top, and Archon Corrupt. Harry Maguire's through into P2. Harry F's having a look as well, and Harry Maguire's challenging for the lead now into turn 3, and he hits Energetics, and then Abood pushes Energetics, punts him into the gravel trap at the exit of turn 3. Harry F's up to 3rd, Ghost Recon's up into 4th, but Energetics tumbles down to P17, 18, all the way down to last place. Archon Corrupt from 3rd on the grid now leads the Grand Prix. Abood is in 2nd. Has he got wing damage after he hit Energetics, Packer? That's the big question.
It's going to be difficult to say. Obviously, visual damage doesn't give you too much here in F1 2021 as Excel Major down the inside of Axel into turn 9 there. Not much room was left for the Alpha Tower driver, and just getting spun around. Not the greatest of overtaking spots is turn 9. Only a few major overtaking spots here in Australia. Baba O'Reilly all over the circuit on those soft tires. I think I just saw someone spun, but maybe not. I think it was just Axel making a slight mistake there.
Ghost Recon's looking to make moves
down the inside
into turn 13 on Harry F, but too far back on this occasion. They sent it very late into 15 and through 16. Now it's going to be very tricky on these high fuel loads, and there's going to be, I'm sure, some early warnings coming in as well. A lot of sliding on the rear tyres. They do start to go away from you very early, but at the end of the first lap, Maguire has a half a second lead from Abood. Harry F's already been dropped by a second, swept into the pits, and but luckily for Energetics, he has escaped damage and he's passing, already making progress back through the field. But Jav is out. Ricky has got the wrong wheels at the front of his car there as he's spinning around, and we've got a virtual safety car. So the drivers will be held to about 40% their regular speed. We would love to know what happened there. Sadly, we don't get replays in League Racing. We don't have the budget for that. Jav disconnects. He's gone. He's out of it. Bye-bye, Sandra. She will need a trip to the hairdressers before next week. But, Packer, so let's break down what we've had so far. So we've got Maguire up 3, Abood down 1, but gains for Harry F, Ghost Recon, Ben Scott's up 4, Slump Recon lost 3 places. He did have quite a shoddy start. Big gains for Marcy, he's up 8, MCSC's up 8 as well. As we're green flag, but Harry Maguire's out of the race. Our leader has smashed into the wall on the exit turn 12. He lit up the tyres, must have got too wide, too eager on the throttle, and well, we've lost two big names already, Jav and then race leader Maguire, who had such a good start, but Abu inherits the lead by default, and he'll be wondering what on earth happened there. I'm wondering what on earth happened there. That was so sudden after safety car restart. I can only think it caught Maguire by surprise.
Yeah, getting a little bit too eager on the throttle there. Obviously, turn 12, one of the easier places to put in a wall is MTFC sets fastest lap on a 129.931 on the medium compounded tire, just for him, their fastest lap. I'm sure we'll be beaten quite soon, but yeah, TTG Boud leading this race, followed by Harry F. Ghost Recon in a strong position as well, the reserve driver in the Alfa Romeo here tonight. Ben Scott in P4, so the two Alpines looking quite strong. Maybe a good team result finally will come their way for the Alpines. Slimcon in P5, he's looked strong most of the season, and now in another strong position here as well. Serial Killer P6 after his crash in qualifying, just trying to stick with Slimcon, and he's doing that quite well. He will have DRS as they head down towards turn 13 on this
Energetics on the inside of Jess Gamer into turn 9. Jess doesn't want to yield, and fairly enough, because Energetics had to get out of that one. I think he thought Jess was going to break much earlier, was less willing to get into a fight, but she had her elbows out there. Energetics has to hang back from that one, but he'll have her go down to turn 13. He's quicker off the exit of 12. There we go, he's got slipstream, he's got DRS, first DRS zone of the race, and he's going to pull to the inside. Is he close enough into 13? He is, he breaks late. Jess lets him go. But, yeah, so I think we're going to have to keep a close eye on Energetic's progress through the field, but other than that, the field is quite strung out. Although I say that, actually, no, it's not, because we've got Ghost Recon on the back of Harry F here, through turn 2, through turn 3, and Ghost Recon almost loses it on the exit of 2. And, luckily, he's too far ahead of the other Alpine of Ben Scott, but that was nearly catastrophic for Ghost Recon.
Yeah, Ghost Recon almost putting in the wall there at turn 2. Turn 2 can be quite interesting when it comes to traction, obviously. A slight lip that you want to be putting your left side of the car on just to carry the most speed, make the straightest line possible through that first chicane, those first two corners. But obviously not exactly concrete there, or tarmac, however you want to say it, asphalt. And just having that little AstroTurf there can be quite slippy, especially right at the beginning of the race. Not going to be much rubber right there for these drivers. So getting a little bit sideways, as well as high fuel, worn tires as well from qualifying. Ben Scott, well, all my intervals have disappeared, but Ben Scott and Slimcon going side by side down towards turn 13. Ben Scott not having the DRS off of Ghost Recon, even with that mistake. Slimcon a little bit of a lock up into 13. Serial Killer is going to be licking his lips with these two in front of him, as I think that's Ibo off in the middle sector. But Slimcon pulling off an impressive move there on Ben Scott, and now leading the Alpine as they head through the final corner. It's going to be interesting to see who gets DRS. It's going to be Slimcon, because he was behind at the DRS detection point just before turn 14. So the Haas driver will begin to pull away in a straight line. He has a double bite of the cherry as well. No detection point on that pit straight, as Harry F's around. The lap following Ghost Recon's almost spin, Harry F spins it around. No damage, it looks like, for the Alpine driver, but now he's going to be behind his teammate.
Serial Killer's up the inside of Ben Scott. Ben Scott's lost a second place in a couple of corners. Sorry to cut across you there, but that was an opportunistic move from Serial Killer, because he didn't know if the safety car was going to come out, but he's made that move, so Ben Scott not having the best time of it. But, sorry, back to you, Pat.
Yeah, Serial Killer making that move, a good one. That didn't quite catch him, but he's also very low on ERS as the Red Bull driver, so he's been draining, trying to stick with these guys. But also, just to mention about running some pretty serious D2, D3 race pace, I would say, especially at the beginning of this race. Yeah, P1 and pulling away as well. Now we have yellow flags in the middle sector. Who is that for? Could that possibly for Axel or Oryx? We've
got Major and Axel going side by side into turn 11, and that's Major's round.
Yeah, Major getting sent into the gravel there as like 3 people get penalties.
Does anybody want to fancy finishing this race? Because it seems at the moment they're all doing their best effort to possibly go and watch some Netflix or something. We got Slumpcon's round. Slumpcon's round at the last corner, and Ben Scott's in the pits as well.
Slumpcon trying to find a window of opportunity to get spun around. He's going to have to do it soon as Ibo retires in the... Wait, no, not in the pit.
And he's going to have to do a 3-point turn.
Wait.
3-point turn for Slumpcon here, because he doesn't want to get any damage hitting the wall. And that cost him a good 20 seconds. We've got a full safety car now, because Ibo retired on the pit straight.
I think he retired coming out of the pit lane, and then it's reset him to track, just because he's right in the middle of the circuit with missing a left wheel.
I think you were right there. So, well, this seems a good moment. Let's just take stock of what we've seen the last few laps. So we've had an early trip through the ground for Energetics. He went all the way down to 17th. He's since recovered to P8. We had a poor start for Slumpcon. He briefly recovered up to 4th, and then has since had that spin. He's back down in P11. Harry F also had a spin at turn 2. He went from P2 down to P14. We had Ocon Corruptible, Harry Maguire, leading the race briefly after taking it sensationally in the first couple of corners. He crashed out at the end of a VSC period. He's down, well, he is 18th because he's out of the race. So Abood has a 5-second lead over Ghost Recon, who's up 4 places. Serial Killer's up 5. Marcy and MCFC, as seems to be often the way, have gone up 13 places and 12 places respectively. I'll get my words out. And I think we're now going to see everybody plan for pits, and indeed we are. Abood, Ghost Recon, Serial Killer. Marcy, though, is going to stay out, and he's going to inherit the lead of this race. And Packer, if there's some rain coming, Marcy, the D5 strategic genius of D5, may have played this perfectly again, because he might not have to pit until the wet tyres come on.
Yeah, medium tires, especially in my experience, do about 25 laps, depending, obviously, on your tire pressures and your driving style and driving device, of course. Controller, wheel, either way. Yeah, Marcy will go out into the lead of this race, following the Aston Martin safety car there. He's going to be in P1 as Marcy, followed by MCFC, and then TTG About our net race. Well, I don't even know if it's going to be net race leader now, because the rain will be coming now, and now the rain period will be moved forward a little bit, just because it's going to take just that little bit longer with the safety car period and the pack to bunch up as well. I'm not sure if that's how the game works, but that's how it should work. TTG About will be in P3, followed by Ghost Recon, Serial Killer, all of them pitting. Ben Scott had to pit, I believe. I'm not sure if he had damage, but I think he had either a spin or came into the pit lane, but he's on a 1 lap older medium tires than everyone around him. Bob O'Reilly, Axel Kerr's Energetics up to P9 now. P9 now. Excel Major, Harry F after pitting because he did have a slight amount of damage after his spin. Just interestingly enough, onto the hard tires. I would like to check her strategy because I think she started on mediums. Yes, she did. So she started on mediums and decided to pit to the hards. Energetic or Excel Major starting on mediums and deciding to pit for another set of mediums. There indeed. Sumcon on the mediums, Jamie on the mediums. Swip has been on this set of mediums for a little while now, and Rick, down in P16, the last out of everybody so far, and quite a ways away from the train, also on a fresh set of medium tires. So we're going to be under safety car for a few laps here, but it's going to take that time away. It's going to add time to the rain period. So yeah, Marcy leads MCFC right now. Is actually MCFC into the pit lane. This is an interesting decision, especially since most of the field has been backed up.
Well, I was thinking as you were talking there, I think the fact that everybody, apart from Jess, went for medium says to me that they're expecting the rain to come in good time, as opposed to right at the very end of the race, or marginless whether it would arrive at all. So otherwise you'd expect most people, particularly in Division 5, to go hard if they felt that, the rain was coming right at the end. So that says to me that the rain was coming sooner rather than later, maybe perhaps by lap 20 or so. But what's so spanning in the works of that is MCFC coming into the pits. I'm not sure why he would do that if the rain was coming in, 10-15 minutes. It was the radio message. So that's an interesting decision. It's put him down in 14th place, and he's on hards now. So regardless of what happens with the weather, he can go to the end. But I am intrigued by the fact that everyone has gone mediums, because given what we've seen this season, typically D5 is a 2-stop race. It's a 2-stop division. So the fact we've seen everyone go soft medium makes me think that the rain could be coming relatively soon. Unless they're planning a 3-stop Packer. We don't know.
Yeah, you can never really tell, can you? here in Division 5 what the strategy is going to be. But now, since we are under safety car, we can look very quickly to Division 2 as they are on a safety car restart with Carmentos leading. So what could you really expect?
Carmentos is an alt stratting though. He's yet to pit. Everyone from P7 downwards has made a pit stop, so it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that one. Ben Scott's made a mistake under safety car. He spun at turn 12. He's lost his front wing. That's going to put an extra lap on the safety car period, I should think. Unless, well, Ben Scott, you do not want to catch up. If you catch up, the safety car's going to come in this lap. And Ben Scott, what have you done? If he had just stopped, done a couple of donuts on the exit of turn 12, left a nice gap, he would have been able to pit and catch up. But instead, we've got a safety car restart in our hands, and Marcy has made the jump so staggeringly early so far. Abood is caught completely nothing, 2.6 seconds behind. Ghost Recon's going to follow him through. Marcy is, well, he plays his strategy to perfection. He's now playing his safety car restarts to perfection as well. Axel overtakes Baba O'Reilly into turn 1, and I think Energetics will be trying to get in on the action as well.
Jess is around.
We've got Jess around at turn 2. Energetics breaks late, has a look, and then has a second look and goes around the outside of turn 3. Baba O'Reilly. That's a nice move from the championship leader, but Baba O'Reilly's not going to give that one up too easily. Has a look into turn 5, and now he's going to leave himself very vulnerable to XL Major. These guys were so far apart on the grid, and suddenly, well, Major was 13th, Energetics was 2nd, and now they're just a couple of places apart on track. And in fact, in a second, I think they could well be right next to each other on track. First and second in the championship. We're going to go wheel to wheel again once Major gets past Baba O'Reilly, if indeed he's able to. He's got Harry F in very close company as well.
Yeah, just looking for a move here around the outside of 11. I don't think that's really going to be possible, but he's going for it. Trying it around the outside. Baba O'Reilly gives him the space, and fair play to XL Major. That was fantastic from second place in the championship. Harry F also making his way past Baba O'Reilly, so he's lost 3 positions just on this lap alone. Energetics looking up the inside of Axel. Has a little bit of a slide off the inside curb of turn 13. He's not going to be able to get that move done. He's going to have to wait till turn 1, possibly turn 3 to get that move done. But Baba O'Reilly losing, what, 3, possibly 4 positions there on that safety car restart. But also Marcy got out to a 2.6 second lead, and now the gap is down to only 0.8, and Ghost Recon is absolutely flying, going with TTG about as much as he possibly can. Serial Killer a little bit off the back. Axel Kurz understeering a little bit through turn 1, not really hitting the apex. MCFC making his way past Swip, interestingly enough. Baba O'Reilly is around. That really proves that he was struggling with the car, and you could see that in his safety car restart. That first lap after the safety car came in, he lost so many positions, really struggling. Possibly a little bit of damage. He was going quite, or not relatively slowly, but really struggling for him there. But also on the safety car restart, I think the Serial Killer might just have a slight amount of damage, or is struggling as well.
Well, Axel Kurz is 1.5 seconds behind him, so we'll see. It could just be that he's struggling with the tyres. Energetics is he's looking this way and that. He's probably acutely aware that his championship rival XL Major is directly behind him, so he can't afford to hang about behind Axel. He needs to get a move on, and Major was having a look at Energetics into turn 3, ended up going quite deep, left himself a little bit vulnerable to Harry F, but Major looks quick here, and Axel Kurz is gone on turn 12 there. Another victim for turn 12, and we've now got Serial Killer in the way of these two. The Serial Killer going to get out of his teammate's way. How quickly is he going to do that? Is he going to be a Checo Perez and put a roadblock on? Yeah, he must have damage, but I'm surprised he's not jumped out of Energetics' way. He's coming into the pits there, but he completely misses the entry. And look at what this has done for XL Major, because it's put him right on the back of Energetics. He's got the inside line into turn 1. This is not a particularly long braking zone. How brave is each man going to be into turn 1? And Energetics was off track there. He's over the curb of turn 2, over the Astro. He had to concede the place, otherwise that car was going straight into a wall. And now we've got Harry F having a look at Energetics into turn 3. Dicey racing here all round, but brilliantly brave and bold. And in all of that, these guys are now 6 seconds off our leading trio.
Yeah, Marcy, About, Ghost Recon, all going so very well together so far in this race. I'm surprised Marcy has been able to keep up the pace. I think About just waiting for DRS to get this overtake done and be off into the sunset. Just waiting for that rain period. Used a little bit of ERS. Marcy, as we typically see him, below 10%. MCFC and Swip swapping positions. I think Swip has been off the track. Slumpcon has dropped down the order as well and is respun on the exit of turn 10. They're losing even more positions. Those medium tires absolutely cooked for the Haas driver. But MCFC on these hard tires hasn't even really looked that bad. I think Harry F might have a little bit of damage. He's been struggling, but Avowed with the DRS into turn 13, making his way past the Mercedes driver of Marcy, and Ghost Recon's really gonna have to push to try and get past him. He's looking up the inside of turn 16, but he's not gonna be quite close enough.
Oh,
Marcy
no,
on the exit curve at turn
Marcy.
15, and he's round into the barrier. I don't think that would be damage, but he's gonna have to continue on. No, he's gonna be into the pit lane. So an interesting decision to stay out under safety car and then be into the pit lane 5 laps later.
Well, it was the stream didn't do you any favours there because he said don't think he got any damage, and for the point of view we had, we could clearly see he was missing a front wing. So, but that was the reasoning that he's coming into the pits. I wish I could say it was a strategic genius again, as Major and Energetic are back at it through turn 1. I'm going to interrupt myself here because there's no love lost between these two. They're going hammer and tongue at it through turns 4 and 5. Energetics is looking left and right, and behind them, Harry F and MCFC are going at it as well. Major just seems to have the shade of an advantage right now, but it's Energetics who is the one with the DRS. And Paco, I don't know if you're aware of the 1982 Monaco Grand Prix, but that's the vibes I'm getting from this race. All of our front runners at some point have had a drama here, apart from Abood. And we've got a couple of yellow flags. We've got a collision at the back. We've got, in fact, as well, we've also got a glitched lobby. We've got Marcy is frozen in the pit lane with Serial Killer. They're frozen in the pit lane, and this could be a restart if anyone comes into the pit lane and they can't get out. This could well be a lobby restart. We've got Jamie has had a problem at turn 12. SlumpCon is through, and we've got a car. Yeah, I think this lobby is glitched, but I don't know if we have any orgs to hand to inform of the situation. But we'll see how it goes. We need another car to come to the pits to test the waters for us. But I think tentatively, Packer, we should assume, as of right now, this race may not be continuing. But you don't need to say that to Major and Energetic. They're going at it again into turn 3.
Yeah, I don't know what the situation would be. Possibly full race restart.
Well, we've got Jamie Met in the pits.
Jamie, Larry, let's see what happens to the McLaren driver. New, fresh soft tires, so that's rain. I would imagine be starting very soon. Front wing change for the McLaren driver as well. Just watching on board, I think Ben Scott has possibly caused this because whenever you go on board with him,
yep, we're gonna need we need a restart to this lobby. Are you aware any orgs who have finished racing? What about Campbell and Verstappen? Get one of those
Campbell
on the
and
phone.
Verstappen would be the best decision, I would imagine. I could give them a quick message.
Yes.
You're gonna have to ignore my typing for the time being.
Right.
I can't spell.
Well, for the time being, it is Abood that leads from Ghost Recon. Ghost Recon is sticking with Abood quite nicely, isn't he? 0.4 of a second behind, but I am wondering if we're going to see.
Yeah. Well, Ghost Recon and Abood are getting quite close, so I guess we can give you as much action as possible.
Yes,
really,
and
as Babo O'Reilly and Harry F have both retired.
Yeah, I think with the message is getting through that we have a restart.
Yep. I would imagine this would be full race restart.
We could do a full race restart. I mean,
or we could do 20.
I would be tempted by a cheeky 25% with the grid order being the order
they finished in
the order they were when Ben Scott came into the pits. But that's just me.
Well, because we've only now reached the top, or 15 laps to go. So obviously a few laps would be cut.
Yeah, it was lap 11, I believe. That when Ben Scott first came into the pits, but Marcy and Serial Killer have been able to leave the pits now. But
I think it's because of Harry F or Ben Scott. I think that's
I think Ben Scott was the initial
disqualified, and now everyone has been able to move. So Yeah.
Well, yes, we are 100% getting a new lobby, even if the people on track don't quite realise it yet. But the question is, do we get a full lobby restart, or do we get a 25%er with the original grid, or do we get a 25%er with the grid as it was when... Which of those options would you prefer, hypothetically? I know you're not an organiser, I know I'm not organising, but what would you choose for
Well,
Spice?
we can always be, F1 website, basically, just put our insights in, if you will, but it's also, I'm not sure if you're still in the lobby, I would assume you are. It's getting very cloudy, as it was just very sunny a lap or two ago, so the rain would be coming in the next 4 to 5 laps, I would imagine, so around lap 20. So, if we were to do a 25% race, it would have to be, the rain would be coming very soon. I don't know if we'd be able to get the rain in there, and it would be scripted. Have to be scripted, of course. But yeah, I know if we were to do a 50% race, at least in the past when people have we've done restarts, I remember distinctly Season 4 Japan, I think 1 or 2 drivers couldn't make the second restart the restart because of time constraints. So it's difficult to say. I would very much not like to be in either Lewis's or yours position at this point, Campbell and Verstappen, respectively. But yeah, I'd much rather not be in their position right now.
Oh, we've got a safety car on track. I still in the lobby. I may as well get some action on the stream, so they don't have to look at the menu. Let's see how many viewers we've got. We've got 10 viewers. Thank you for being with us and enjoying Division 5 on a Saturday night. It's now 9 o'clock and we're about to restart, so we'll see if we get a full lobby or not. I don't think... Yeah, we're getting a full restart from lap 1 with the original grid. Energetics is not too happy about that, he said, expletive joking me halfway through the race. So yes, I'm not too happy. We've still got 5 people going round and round on track. I think actually that's not Connor's left. We've got Rick here, Ghost Recon, still going at it around Australia. Well, we're just waiting for our invites. Let's pivot, Packer. Let's talk, because everything we've said for the last 45 minutes, not 45 minutes, for the last
means nothing.
25 minutes is redundant now. So let's pivot. Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen on the front row of the Bahrain Grand Prix tomorrow. What's your thinking?
Well, this may come off as biased, being a Charles Leclerc fan, sharing a birthday with him, of course, you know.
I think you mean Charles Leclerc, but go on.
Yeah, Charles Leg. I think we'll go with that one. So, yeah, I love the prospect of Max, Charles being on the front row together. It's going to be quite the race, I would imagine, especially Carlos going to be in there. I can't remember who's exactly P4. Is it? No, Bottas is 6th.
It's Perez.
It's Perez, of course. Red Bull Ferrari.
Easy driver
clear
to forget about, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Rocco, if you're watching. I'm sure you're not. But anyways, yeah. It's going to be quite the strategy it's going to be quite the strategy game as well. Going back to Bahrain just 12 months ago as well. Hamilton versus Lewis up at the front. And we had that all most of the season last season as well. Hamilton versus Max. You know what I'm talking about. Strategy really determined the season last season, besides the on-track controversies, of course. So yeah, I think Charles hasn't won a championship. This is going to be the first time he's really going to be fighting for one in Formula One. Obviously 2019 was quite competitive in qualifying, but we all know why, and I'm sure Dylan would love to tell you why. So yeah, 2020 and 2021, not the most competitive seasons from Ferrari championship-wise. So Charles will be hungry. Max, after just winning his championship, he'll want to come back and do it again, especially to beat Lewis once again here in 2022. So it's going to be quite the race, and if anything, I think we might get some on-track dramatics from those top 2.
I think we will. I think we're in for a cracking race between Verstappen and the 2 Ferraris. I'm sorry to say, Sergio Perez, if you are watching, I don't think you're good enough to to win tomorrow, but we shall see. I think we will have a new lobby, hopefully very soon. We've had our last retirement, so this lobby is over. Um, Hopefully, Swip can get one up and running very quickly. Ah, there we
And
go.
I've just received an invite.
Exciting stuff. So we are going to get going back underway, albeit extremely late in the day. Let's go back to D2. So how things are going. They're on lap 16. Car Mentalist is leading the race, although it's still yet to pit. CPI Rude Hullet is in P2. Coxie in P3, Zanima in P4, Tibos in P5. Those guys all yet to pit as well. Then we've got Kriko, Gary, Nathan, Boompia, Hardy, Screen, Timon, Larkin, Ben JS, and Calvin, who won last week.
Ooh, Coxie into the pit lane now. And I have gotten the loading glitch, so that's just lovely. Wait. Wait.
I too have a loading glitch.
Oh, let me get you an extra invite.
Friends, I'm going to have to close my game in order to get to the lobby, which means the broadcast will end. So we'll be back with you on the other side in a few. Thank you for tuning in to what has been a completely entertaining, if unnecessary, hour of action. See you in a few.